Sagittarius, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation from Born Without Boundaries. In these weekly videos, I review the major planetary aspects and transits of the week, and then let you know how they're going to impact or aspect your natal sun and what that means for your bottom line. All you need to know to understand and enjoy this video is your birthday. Everything else I'm going to translate for you. I'm going to start off really broad with the big stuff, the charts for the week. And then I'm going to focus that down into Sagittarius specific energy, and then I'll break everything down into the 3 decans of Sagittarius. A decan is a group of 10 degrees, and by doing this, it helps me understand whose natal suns are being impacted in which way, specifically what aspects are forming to your natal suns, which will let me know how you're going to be impacted. So this is for the week of August 29th through September 4th of 2023. I'm going to start off real broad with the big stuff, and there is some big stuff going on actually. We have August 29th, Uranus goes into retrograde, and Uranus is all about change and rebellion, and when it goes into retrograde, that goes inward. So there's a major changes that you are starting to incorporate into yourself and not being afraid to change. You're going to see dynamic energy starting to shift within yourself, and that can change, of course, outwardly how you perceive the world. This will be retrograde. Uranus will be retrograde till January. And so honestly, we've already started to see some of those shifts because Uranus has been in its shadow period for a while. So I would say all the way out through February, we're going to really, February of 2024, we're going to really be feeling this energy. All other planets at this point, Jupiter will go retrograde on the 3rd of September. So that actually happens too. Jupiter goes retrograde on September 3rd. So with 2 more energies retrograde, actually on September 3rd, every planet is retrograde except for, the sun never goes retrograde. But except for Mars. So Mars is the only planet moving direct, but Mars has just moved into Libra, which means it's also in detriment. So it doesn't make a lot of progress. It doesn't move forward quickly when it's in Libra. It really takes on this energy of I'm taking action to balance things out and making sure everything is fair, right? And so it doesn't make a lot of huge progress, but that doesn't matter because the progress right now is internal, and as within, so without, and it follows in natural cycles as well. This is the fall, this is the autumn. So what we do now is we plant for the future. It's about what's happening underground. It's not about what's happening on the surface that matters. And this is where we're going to dig in and start to see a lot of changes that are going to happen to us, and a lot of expansion and personal growth, especially inward. We also have a full moon on the 30th, which is just tomorrow if you're watching this on the 29th. And if you don't get the notifications, please make sure that you are subscribed to this channel so that you are notified as soon as these forecasts come out. The schedule of my release dates for each zodiac sign is down below in the description box as well. So just so you know, it's the same as my release times over on Born Without Boundaries. So we have a full moon in Pisces. It happens at 7 degrees Pisces. So of course the sun is 7 degrees Virgo. This occurs if you're in the United States around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's around 6:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. You guys can figure out everything in between. But it is PM, and so there's going to be a beautiful view. This is a super full moon. That means it's big because the moon is in closer proximity to the Earth, so it just appears larger, and it's going to aesthetically be something just lovely to behold. But let's talk about what's happening in terms of the astrology. The moon is conjunct Saturn when this happens, and so moon conjunct Saturn is uncomfortable energy anyway. Conjunctions usually mean a combination of 2. But the moon is all about growth and nurturing and possibility and youth, right? And emotion and psychic ability. And Saturn is all about what? Restriction, rules, laws, regulations. Have we measured it? How much is it worth? Standards, maturity. So when these two come together, it's sort of the collision of our two worlds, and it represents a time when we're supposed to start taking greater authority over who we are ourselves. And since it's opposite the sun, this sense of maybe we haven't taken enough authority over who we are or over our lives. Maybe our standards have not been high enough, and we have been sort of fooled by the illusion. And you could be fooled by the illusion of too much work as well, you know, too much conforming to the norm and not making sure that you're connected to your truth. So, or the truth, or yeah, connected to the truth. So it is going to be, it is a naturally frustrating energy, and it's a wonderful time for us to release any of the defensiveness or sadness, frustration, irritation that we have been building up, to let that go, to help clear space and make some room. This is a very powerful energy to put forth new standards and new goals and new objectives that you intend to nurture. Great time to plant that seed. So we also have on September 1st, the sun. So, okay, you have the 29th Uranus goes into retrograde. You have the 30th, the full moon, the super full moon. It's also a blue moon because it's the second full moon in August. So you have on the 30th, the full moon happening in Pisces, going to be very big. And then we have on the 1st of September, the sun is finally moving out of opposition. I think it becomes about 6 degrees away from a real solid opposition to Saturn. So finally, definitely toward the end of the week especially, we're going to get more release, less feeling of oppressed, and less self-criticism or criticism in general. That will start to dissipate. So you will start to feel a relief after that full moon, if not just because of the full moon, then also because the sun is also moving out of opposition to Saturn. And then we're also going to have toward the end of the week, Mars finally released from its opposition to Neptune on the 31st, which is really helpful energy as well, because the self-deception and feeling of overacting, overdoing to make up for perceived inadequacies that are based on illusions, jumping at shadows, that shit's going to be over by the 31st. So there is this energy of, even though we're in retrograde, we're moving toward a more peaceful, less oppressive, less frustrating feeling around us. So that will help all of us out a lot. On September 3rd, Mercury retrograde conjuncts the sun. Mercury retrograde is trine Jupiter all week long, which is about more knowledge. I want to understand. I want to know. I want to explore, and maybe things that I haven't understood, the stuff that I already have opportunities for. I want to jump into these and travel, especially through my mind and education. But it conjuncts the sun on the 3rd, Mercury retrograde, and so the sun is going to be trine to Jupiter as well. This becomes a very optimistic and open-minded energy that I think will offer a lot of perspective, and especially retrospective, that we all really need in order to find some harmony and become more optimistic again. And then, of course, we have Mercury trine to Uranus, but only through the 1st of September. So that's going to break away. It's not a bad thing. It's just almost this sense of, it's not so much about cleverness anymore as it is about humility and learning. So yeah, there's this understanding or almost aha quality to this week as we move to this week, and this really tense energy disbands. We're now more able to come into ourselves and be more okay with what we see in front of us. Whether that's ideal or not, it really doesn't matter. What matters is what we use, how we use what's in front of us, and how grateful we are for it, and where we apply it to build ourselves up, right? It's a sense of accepting what you have in order to use it as vast in the biggest way possible. So I think that there's a little bit of optimism that is going to return by the end of this week that'll help us all out. So let's talk specifically, Sagittarius, about Sagittarius energy. How do I find that? I look, what's going on in Sagittarius? So nothing's going on in Sagittarius. There's really not even the moon is going to be there right now. So we have nothing in Sagittarius for right now, but we do have stuff going on with Jupiter, which is your ruling dignitary. So Jupiter is trying to Mars all week. By the 3rd, it's going to be, no, hold on a second. I just said it. By the 3rd, it's going to be also trine to the Sun. Yeah, by the 3rd, it's going to be trine to the Sun as well. No, the 31st. That's good. That's a little bit earlier than I thought. That's good. And we also have this square to Venus, which is also very interesting energy because it's all about, hey, let's enjoy, let's indulge. But it's almost like by the end of the week, it's, hey, let's enjoy and indulge in less. Not as restriction, but as, oh, I don't need as much to pleasure me. I don't need as much to please me. Also, there is just this sense of very acutely understanding hedonism and the excess that it can bring and the disruption that it can bring. So it's like taking note of that and seeing quality and seeing abundance in a different way. You know, it's quality over quantity is basically what I'm saying. This energy all around Jupiter right now is quality over quantity. Let's go into the decans of Sagittarius. So if you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Sagittarius, then your natal sun is in the first decan of Sagittarius. So you are a Sagittarius 1. Now, what does that mean for birthdays? It means November, essentially, Sagittarians. So we have anyone born between, say, November 22nd and maybe 31st, or could possibly also into the 1st of December, depending on where it begins, which day in November it begins. Then I would say that would be you guys. You would be Sagittarius 1s. You have a long-term sextile to Pluto, which means there's a real boost to your authority and how many opportunities, just your personality and the gravity of your charisma will open up for you. So that's a very helpful energy that you'll have going for you for the next couple of years. But this week you have a square to Saturn, which is long term. You'll have it all year. But you also have a square to the sun through, your natal suns are square to the current sun through the 3rd of this week. And that includes being square to the sun during the full moon, as well as being square to the full moon. So this could be a quite emotional, rapturous, frustrating, and challenging energy where you're sort of eating a lot of crow, right? Whether it's right or wrong, there's just this sense of really having to confront those places in your life where you've felt restricted, where you felt you've held yourself back, where maybe you've expected too much and the quality isn't there. Whatever it is, this all comes to a head. So it could be a quite frustrating and challenging energy around today, the 30th and the 31st for you. Just an FYI. All week long, you also have a sextile to Mars, which means a productivity in a way, the sense of energy and virility really being stimulated. But since Mars is in Libra, there is this sense of figuring out what I have to do to balance myself back out, or balance my energies and everything around me back out, using your energy more to create equilibrium than to create any kind of push forward, though your stamina will be up and you'll feel an energy boost. And it's a great time to be physical because you'll have the mental acuity and the stamina, the energy levels to do so. Let's move on to Sagittarius 2. I'm so sorry, guys. I feel like ever since, I'm not going to say, I was going to say ever since Mercury went into retrograde, I just can't speak. But let's get into this. Sagittarius 2s. Sagittarius 2s, if you know your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Sagittarius, you're Sagittarius 2s. So that correlates to birthdays between December 2nd and the 11th of December. So your natal suns are square to Mercury retrograde. Do not be surprised, because just being square to Mercury can be tough energy, could cause a lot of retrogradish kind of energy. But square to Mercury retrograde, dude, it's like, expect there to be a lot of tricks and challenges when it comes to technology, communications. All of those things can be really, really muddled and quite disruptive this week for you. Just an FYI, Mercury retrograde, it's like Mercury retrograde on crack for you guys. So there could be a lot of messages or thoughts or stuff that comes up from the past, having to confront all of that. So don't expect this to be a super easy week. It's not. It will challenge you, but it will also really hone your skills after this week. So it's only a week, and I would just encourage you to take extra time with things, go extra slow with things, and really be able to ground yourself when that frustration comes up, because it inevitably will. We also have a trine to Venus, which is also in retrograde. So there's a sense of feeling really good and feeling really pretty and being really charismatic and really wanting to take care of yourself, where it's a good time to really enjoy life and feel good about this. So there's an optimism to you, even though there could also be kind of a clumsiness to you. Just an FYI, this is a good time to like relax, and you'll probably be a little extra indulgent since Venus is also square to Jupiter. But there is that energy of almost like of being able to enjoy yourself and like leave the important stuff till next week. If I could send all of you on vacation this week, I would, so that everything that you touch is not contracts or obligations, right? That's not good to do during Mercury retrograde, but because you're trying to Venus, it is a time to have a good time and to feel sexy and be attractive and be flirtatious and focus on the aesthetics. And so this is a really good time for you to do that and just kind of slack off on the super serious stuff right now. You also have a trine to Chiron, which is long term. It's going to be at least for the next year, especially those of you born around the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th of this month, of December. Especially for you guys, you're in a tight conjunction to Chiron right now. So what does that mean? A tight, not conjunction, tight trine to Chiron. It's actually really beautiful energy, because it means a lot of healing and catharsis, a lot of solving issues from the past, and really starting to be able to understand and learn from, and maybe get comfortable with those tough lessons from the past. You're going to start to see like your strength returning, and that's over the next next year, and it's been happening. So honestly, this is a healing energy for you guys. And then we have this quincunx to Jupiter, which is about like 130, 135 degrees between your, 150 degrees. 150 degrees between your natal sun and Jupiter. What does that mean? It's going to be your spurred to action. It's almost going to be like you're being like pushed or poked to do something, to grow, right? And so it may be irritating, but honestly, it's a good thing to do anyway. Not a sense, grow as in be curious, grow as in travel, grow as in explore. With that square to Mercury retrograde, there could be a little bit more frustration here this week, of course, but an overall optimism and a general sense of just let yourself enjoy the moment will really help everything this week. Let's go on to Sagittarius 3s. So Sagittarius 3s, I apologize. If you know your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Sagittarius, you are Sagittarius 3. So your natal sun, your birth dates, the birth dates would be basically from the 12th through the 22nd of December. So right on up to that Capricorn cusp. Your natal suns are sextile to Saturn. They are trine the North Node, which is all very progressive energy. Very, let's confront the hardships, let's embrace it, and let's get serious about it, and let's build. It's sort of this very optimistic, but also let's get serious about shit energy, which is really wonderful for your future and your growth, your personal like maturation. And then we have a long-term square to Neptune, which can be distracting, but can also be an opportunity to create a sense of use that energy creatively. Don't ignore it, use it. And so it will work for you. And then this quincunx to Uranus, developing, but it's a quincunx to Uranus that's now in retrograde. So right now there could be almost like developing or changing will cause irritation, but if you can stick it out, you'll win. So there's like these thorns on your side when it comes to changes, and they'll feel extra difficult, but I can tell you right now, Sagittarius, these are going to set you up for success as long as you stick it out. It's really, trust me, definitely by January, you're going to see a lot of progress. So don't give up on those things that are the biggest changes in your life right now, because it's really just a change of perspective that you have to settle into. Give yourself that time. And then you have a Sesasquare, a Sesaquadrite, which is like 130 degrees to Jupiter, and that's also an energy of I can't necessarily figure it out. It's not clear to me which direction I have to go. I just know I have to grow. So basically, settle yourself in faith, and all these learning possibilities can be very frustrating to you. They can feel like there's too much of a curve here, but it's really not as over your head. It's not over your head if you let yourself go slower. This energy will try to push you along and make you go faster, like think you have to go fast. You don't. That's a pressure you're putting on yourself. And even if it's coming from the outside, stop. Take it at your time and your pace. You will arrive there. And if you take it at your pace, you will have ingested and learned all you need to know to really have mastered the place that you've arrived. And so this is the biggest challenge, is going to be in any developmental change that you're going through right now. A new job, a new career path, like just working on who you are will take a little, like give yourself more time is what I'm saying. Give yourself more time than you think you deserve. That's what I'm saying. You let me know in the comments below, Sagittarius, how this energy is impacting you. And if you love these videos, share them and like them, show your love. And then please subscribe to the channel, recommend it to others. And when you have time, come on over to your Born Without Boundaries tarot card reading for the week. I love you guys. I'll see you in the videos.